Okay, if everybody would get seated, we can get started. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us all today. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Bill Fonteno, and I'm the President and CEO of Cleco Holdings. Again, thank you all for being here today. It's an exciting day to be in the Louisiana power business. And I hope that you're as excited to be here as we at Cleco are. Really, you're here at the site of the prettiest power plant in the state of Louisiana. Okay, I might be a little biased, but we're excited to have you here at Cleco's Brame Energy Center. But more importantly, why are we here? We're here to begin Cleco's journey to support a cleaner Louisiana and to take a step towards our commitment to a decarbonized Louisiana. And of course, meeting our own carbon reduction goals of net zero by 2050. But before we get started, as we always do at Cleco, we begin with a safety share or a safety moment. So I'm going to call up Robbie Laborde. Robbie is our Chief Operations and Sustainability Officer for the company to give us a safety share. Robbie?
Thank you, Bill, and welcome everyone. So at Cleco, there's nothing more important, absolutely, unequivocally, not one thing more important to us than the safety of our employees, our contractors, our customers, and the general public. And that's why at Cleco, we have a thing that Bill said called a safety share or a safety moment. So whether you're in engineering or accounting, if you're in finance or operations, every single meeting we have begins with a safety share to make sure we put safety first. And so this great event today is nothing different. We're going to start with a safety share. So today's safety share is about distractions, as you can imagine. 1 out of 4 industrial accidents are caused by distractions. And in driving, it's probably a lot higher than that when you're driving. So with the announcement today, there comes a lot of fanfare, excitement, fear, anxiety, speculation, and all that does is take our employees' mind off the task at hand. And so what do we do to avoid that? We apply a tool called our STAR tool: stop, think, act, and review. And so I'm challenging our employees with all that's going to be going on out here that before they take that critical step, before they do that critical task, they stop and they think and then they act. And that'll help them avoid those distractions that they get into. End of share, Bill. Thank you.
Our state, our country, and our world is transitioning to reduce our carbon output to ensure a sustainable world for future generations. And at Cleco, as a power provider, we're going to be part of that change by providing a clean power solution to our customers who can in turn decarbonize their own processes. That sounds like a challenge. But today, you will hear that decarbonization also provides an opportunity for the communities that we serve. We're here today to the site of the next evolution of power generation in Louisiana, Project Diamond Vault. Project Diamond Vault will use modern technology to support clean fossil fuel power as we transition to complement our generation fleets with renewable forms like solar and wind and emerging technologies. Through our Diamond Vault project, we're embarking on a journey to reduce the carbon footprint of our Madison 3 unit through the use of carbon capture and sequestration, or CCS technology. This technology will single-handedly reduce the emissions at our Madison 3 plant upwards to 95%. You'll hear today about how we intend to leverage technology advancements, ingenuity, and our own Louisiana natural resources like geological formations, as well as heartland waterways, to create a clean power solution while creating and retaining the jobs in the communities that we serve. But we can't do it alone. It takes the support of so many Louisiana leaders to make it a success. So fittingly, I'm going to begin today's discussions with recognizing many of our leaders who are here today. Now, some of you will be speaking, but first I'd like to recognize others here. First, U.S. Senator John Kennedy's staffer, Hannah Livingston. Hannah, thank you for being here. Sheriffs Mark Wood from Rapides Parish and Steve Kane from Grant Parish. Thank you guys for being here. District Attorney Philip Terrell from Rapides Parish. Philip. State Representative Mike Johnson. Mayors Ronnie Williams from Natchitoches, David Butler from Woodworth, Gail Wilking from Ball, Alma Moore from Boyce, Clarence Fields from Pineville, and Jeff Hall from Alexandria. Again, thank you all for being here, and only with your leadership will we be successful. Next, I'd like to introduce Bill Conway. Bill is CLECO's own Chief Compliance and General Counsel for the company. But Bill holds another title. He's actually our Corporate Development Officer, but more importantly, Bill Conway is the champion of our Project Diamond Vault. So I'd like to call Bill to the podium, really to give us the details about what we're trying to accomplish with this great project. Bill?
Thank you, Bill. Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. Project Diamond Vault's a milestone in the transition of Louisiana's fossil fuel economy to a sustainable, clean energy future. And I'm going to tell you how we make it happen. Our Madison 3 unit is the workhorse of our generation fleet. Unlike many solid fuel plants, Madison 3 has low emissions of sulfur dioxide, NOx, and particulates because it uses advanced combustion technology. But there's a problem. In the electric generation sector, Madison 3 is the biggest single emitter of carbon dioxide in the state of Louisiana at 3 to 4 million tons of CO2 a year. We know we cannot continue to operate this way. So CLECO is committed to substantially eliminating the CO2 emissions of MAD 3 through Project Diamond Vault. Diamond Vault will install equipment that uses a chemical process to capture 95% of Madison 3's CO2. We'll compress the CO2 and then inject it into deep geological formations where it will be permanently stored and bond with the surrounding rock over time. That's our project in a nutshell. The best part is that these geological formations are not 100 miles away or 50 miles away, but located right beneath your feet, about 4,000 feet straight down. Subject to final confirmation, we believe there's enough capacity beneath Brame to store the remaining lifetime CO2 emissions of MAD 3 plus CO2 generated by third parties. We're announcing Diamond Vault now because we've begun the basic engineering work for the project. This work, known as a FEED study, an acronym for front-end engineering design, will be the basis for final design and construction contracting. We're also very, very pleased to announce that CLECO is the beneficiary of a $9 million congressional appropriation to defray the estimated $12 million cost of the FEED study. Louisiana Economic Development will administer these federal funds. We are deeply grateful to Senator Cassidy for sponsoring the FEED study appropriation, and to Senator Kennedy, Governor Edwards, and Secretary Pearson for their tremendous and bipartisan help in securing these federal funds. All of them support a new energy future for Louisiana, and without their efforts, we would not have been successful. Diamond Vault is a momentous and long-term undertaking. Here's our timeline. The FEED study will take 18 months to complete. Permitting will end and construction will begin no later than 2025, and we plan for commercial operation in 2028. We estimate Diamond Vault will cost $900 million to complete. That's a very big hill to climb. But we expect to raise that amount through a combination of 45Q tax credits, grants from the U.S. Department of Energy, and private equity investment. And the benefits of Diamond Vault will be worth it. We estimate the project will create 1,100 direct construction jobs over a 3-year period and 30 to 40 new permanent positions. On a statewide basis, LSU economist Dr. Lawrence Scott estimates that the construction phase of Diamond Vault will create 2,900 jobs each year, inject $2.7 billion into the Louisiana economy, and increase state tax revenues by $50 million. Most of these benefits will be realized right here in central Louisiana and Rapides Parish. In addition, we see tremendous potential for Diamond Vault to become a storage hub for CO2 produced by third parties. We're already in discussions with companies that are interested in siting direct air capture facilities at the Brame site. These would use a chemical process to take CO2 directly out of the air and sequester it through Diamond Vault. And we're also talking to companies who would deliver CO2 to Brame by pipeline. Finally, we think there will be a market for 24/7 clean energy produced by Madison 3 after Diamond Vault is up and running. That power may be sold at a premium to end users who need it for compliance with low carbon fuel standards. If we're successful with selling clean energy, we'll be able to reduce the rates of our regulated retail customers. In closing, I'll respond to a question that may be on your minds. Why is the project called Diamond Vault? Well, it's a metaphor. Diamonds are precious jewels made deep within the earth. Project Diamond Vault won't literally make diamonds, but we do believe that gathering and sequestering carbon in geological vaults directly below the Brame Energy Center will have precious value to our ratepayers, the state of Louisiana, and the world. To us, the project is a diamond. Back to you, Bill.
Well, thank you, Bill. And you might have noticed something in Bill's voice, and that was passion. So while Bill has a lot of titles at the company, I can just tell you that this is not a project to Bill Conway. This is his passion. So Bill, thank you for your dedication to what we think is really a great cause. You've heard that coal is environmentally unfriendly. That said, fossil fuels will remain a key component of the power grid until renewables and other technologies evolve to ensure that we have a clean but also reliable power grid. And Madison 3 with Diamond Vault are key investments to that clean energy transition. In many areas of the company, coal units are being retired as having lived their useful life. But here at CLECO, with our 12 years young Madison 3 project and Diamond Vault, it will become the marquee coal plant to support a cleaner Louisiana. At CLECO, we understand how important that is, as they are clearly reflected in our own ESG, that's environmental, social, and governance commitments, and they're public today. In summary, Diamond Vault is about engineering a way to help decarbonize energy production in a state that's built its economy around carbon. As Bill Conway shared earlier, the initial step in the process is the receipt of the $9 million FEED study grant that our Washington delegation was instrumental in introducing into Congress. So it's with great pleasure that I introduce and invite Senator Bill Cassidy to the podium to share with you his commitment to CCS and his understanding of the innovation in energy and power. Senator Cassidy.
I know we all know this, but there is a importance of this project that exceeds that of just CLECO. And let me give you some ideas on that. We can look at Louisiana, where we're on both sides of the climate change discussion. We have a coastline which is melting away and an economy which depends upon a high carbon intensity workforce. And so there we're on both sides. If we decide we're just going to leave it in the ground, we're going to have a lot of unemployed people and an economy which cannot function, not just in Louisiana, but worldwide. On the other hand, if we say there is nothing to do about climate change, we will lose more and more of our coastline. There is a nexus there that can be solved, and that nexus is a project like this. where the emissions that would occur do not occur because instead they are sequestered beneath the ground. Now, this is key. Louisiana is second or third in the nation in terms of chemical productions, and we need those chemicals for a modern economy, not just here but elsewhere. But Europe is going to begin to require a certificate that your carbons are produced in a way that is minimizing the impact upon the environment. We are embracing the future through this project, which is so important for CLECO, but I would argue it is important for our state, for our nation, and the world. Now, by the way, we've been thinking about that. We've got policies that we have worked on in D.C. For example, the SCALE Act is something in the infrastructure bill, a policy I worked on that will help build the pipelines that are needed to take the emissions from one place to the other. The 45QS, which is going to be a part of this. I want to thank the governor. We have just got a close working relationship with the governor's office, with DEQ, in order to take these federal resources and make them work for our state and for our locality. And I could not have asked for a better partner than the governor. And so in a way, we are going to be creating a model here that will be copied by others, and I will emphasize what Bill's saying, that will attract other businesses to move here because they also have to sequester their carbon to export to other markets, and when they move here, they will create more jobs here, making this a place, a go-to place for a business which wishes to expand. And in that, we're going to help this community, we're going to help our state, we're going to help our country. As I was walking in, I've got multiple prayer lists. You know, I write this one in this notebook and this one in that notebook. And one of my prayer lists is a prayer for the economy of central Louisiana. Why? Because there's people here who depend upon that economy to be strong, to have the better job, to have the family stability, to have an environment where their child will choose to stay as opposed to move to another state. We think an economy is, no, an economy is something which gives permanence to a community. And as I was walking into this project, I thought, Lord, this is an answer to prayer. We're going to do something good for here, and we're going to do something good for our state. So just thanks to CLECO. It's been great working with you, and I look forward to many such announcements in the future as those businesses decide to move to central Louisiana to take advantage of the investment that you've made. Thank you.
Okay, that's 3 for 3. All 3 speakers have been named Bill. But I'll just say for the record, not everyone speaking today is named Bill. On a more serious note, thank you, Senator Cassidy. Thank you for all you've done to make today possible, and thank you for your leadership for our country. Wasn't long ago that we had Senator Cassidy on the grounds here. We walked him around, and I'll just say, if you hang around the senator, you know that he is a student of every issue. So it's great to have you, Senator, on our team because of your extreme knowledge and understanding of the value of a project like our Diamond Vault. In Louisiana, we have the natural resources, the ingenuity, the geology, and the people and the infrastructure to transform the power business as we know it. At Madison 3, through Diamond Vault, we can continue the use of our heartland waterways to move byproduct that's coming from Louisiana oil refineries and burn and consume petroleum coke in a cleaner and more sustainable way. But we couldn't have started this journey without the support of Governor Edwards and his administration. Governor, it seemed like yesterday we were having discussions about this project, and Governor, I can't thank you enough for sending Don Pearson and the LED team to really help us with a heavy lift. With that, I'd like to invite Secretary of Louisiana Department of Economic Development, Don Pearson, to the podium. And please, Don, take a moment to brag a little bit about how we relied on you guys to make this happen.
Well, thank you for that, and really today is about technology. I mean, true every day, but particularly today, as we look at this investment that will power a whole cleaner environment for our state, our globe. It's of particular note to me that we talk about Madison 3 as the plant that's here. 11 years or so ago, I was here as it was commissioned. A fabulous job done by former CLECO leader, Mike Madison, who passed away tragically 12 days ago. So he's remembered, and he would be right here on the front row with us, cheering on this new step of technology that's going to make this plant vital in the days to come. That's important to us in economic development. I like to say we don't have any candlelight projects. Every single one of the projects that we have, and we announced 64 last year in 31 parishes, requires a utility partner to be there with us to power that industry. And so CLECO, for me, as I've noted, has been a long-term, very positive partner in economic development across basically 1/3 of our state, as you serve 24 parishes, I believe. So a very significant role that they play in economic development, and we're pleased to have the beginning here today of yet another milestone along the way on this journey. And this journey certainly acknowledges CLECO's leadership in terms of environmental science and investment in this community, and is supported by a national and global leader in climate improvement, and that's our governor, John Bell Edwards. So he'll come forward at this time, please.
Thank you, Don, and I appreciate your leadership at economic development. And Bill, it did seem like it was just the other day than when we were meeting, and typically things don't take shape quite this fast, but this is incredibly important. It's a continuation of our commitment to revitalize rural communities across the state, and a milestone on our path to a cleaner energy future. The truth is that I think Senator Cassidy got it exactly right as to why this is important. There is no state in the country, and very few places on earth, more impacted by climate change than Louisiana. We see it in subsidence and sea level rise, coastal erosion, but we also see it with the increasing severity and frequency of storms. And make sure that prayer list deals with hurricanes as we approach hurricane season this year. 5 in the last 2 years is quite enough. And look, the road is long, but I think the direction is clear. I mean, we're sitting here, and Bill talked about CLECO's commitment to net zero by 2050. Incredibly important. And just about every CEO today, here and around the world, is being tasked by their boards of directors to be responsible for making sure that they make improvements. And so if it isn't just the companies who are going to want to be able to sequester their CO2 here at this facility who will take advantage of this electricity, it's any CEO who wants to put a manufacturing facility or some other facility where they can take advantage of this so that they can say that they're meeting their internal goals to decarbonize. So this is about economic development as much as it is about climate change. You all know that the climate action plan that we adopted earlier this year is the only one of its kind in the Gulf South, and has provided a detailed roadmap for achieving the goal of being net zero by 2050. But for businesses in Louisiana, it really does boil down to 2 major objectives. We must make significant capital investment in new low-carbon energy alternatives, I should say, such as solar, offshore wind, biofuel, and hydrogen. And we have done that. $20 billion in clean energy projects since 2017, 7 projects like this just in the last year. And we must invest in technology that reduces the CO2 that existing facilities are already emitting. And that's what we're talking about here with CLECO. And it's part of our all of the above strategy to make sure that we can achieve balance, but that we can also achieve success. And CLECO's announcement today is, I think, a manifestation of that. It's a plan for a $900 million carbon capture and sequestration facility that will remove up to 95% of the CO2 emissions here at Madison 3. Obviously incredibly important. You know, we're the only state in the nation where more than 50% of our CO2 emissions don't come from power generation. That's because we have so much chemical manufacturing and refining in Louisiana that that's where most comes from. But that is not to say that power generation isn't important. It is extremely important. It is part of that all of the above approach that we're taking. It's exciting to know that that carbon will be sequestered in geologic formations right here at the Brame Energy Center. And this keeps costs down. You don't have to have long pipelines to be built in order to move the CO2. And by avoiding that costly process, and then you take advantage of the 45Q tax credit and hopefully additional funding that will come from the U.S. Department of Energy. And by the way, I want to thank President Biden who's making these funding opportunities available, but I also want to thank Senator Cassidy, who has been instrumental in securing these opportunities as well. But as a result of all of that, CLECO's doing this expecting no rate increases on its customers. Now think about that. That is incredibly important for all of the 291,000 CLECO customers across 24 parishes, and I'm proud to be part of this. And I'm going to deviate from my notes for just a second because Senator Cassidy is here, and I want to thank him for the Infrastructure Investment Jobs Act that is going to help us in so many other ways to clean up the environment as well. Whether it is shutting in some of the orphan wells out there. We only have 4,600 of them here in Louisiana, by the way, and making sure that those fugitive methane emissions are reduced. When it comes to electrical vehicle charging stations, when we have an opportunity to compete with the Department of Energy to become a hydrogen hub. And I hope you saw where we're joining forces with Arkansas and Oklahoma to compete as a region for that. And I'm really excited about what all of that's going to mean for us, in addition to all the roads and bridges and broadband and everything else. I don't know, I suspect we've been together, but I haven't been talking about energy and infrastructure in a public setting where you were present, I don't believe, since the Infrastructure Investment Jobs Act. So I want to tell you on behalf of myself and the great state of Louisiana, thank you for your work on that bill. Appreciate you. So investments in new energy, they're exciting. They offer us a glimpse of the future. They diversify our economy. They make sure that we're going to be an energy leader for generations to come, not just in the past. And I believe that investments like this one, which reduce existing energy emissions, are even more critical than anything else that we can do, because they're going to have an impact, a positive impact, much, much sooner. And they stimulate economic activity, create jobs, and they create jobs right here in rural areas where they're needed the most. In this case, an estimated 1,100 construction jobs here in Rapides Parish over a 3-year period, and 30 to 40 permanent new jobs as well. They serve as a model to other Louisiana businesses trying to navigate the energy transition in a way that's responsible, but also profitable. And they certainly accelerate our progress to net zero. So I want to applaud CLECO's initiative. I thank our local, regional, state, and federal partners for their collaboration, their support, and I challenge other businesses in the state to be equally aggressive in their response to Louisiana's Climate Action Plan. Doing so will strengthen our environment, our economy, and our rural communities at the heart of this great state. So thank you all. Have a wonderful and blessed Easter. God bless.
So I mentioned we had a meeting not so long ago with the governor, and several of you here attended, and we got some pretty clear guidance on our future net zero carbon, and he said basically, hurry up. On a more serious note, Governor, thank you. Thank you for your time here. Thank you for those words. If you have ears, you've heard our governor's support of carbon capture and storage in Louisiana, and quite frankly, he's visionary in his perspective to leverage the geological formations in Louisiana to sustain business and industry. So thank you, Governor, for your leadership. And Governor, I'll say it again, thank you for sending Don and his team to support this day and this initiative. It couldn't have been more valuable to us. So we have a huge value proposition for all of our stakeholders. A win for our employees with expansion of jobs and retention of jobs. A win for our customers to enable them to decarbonize their own homes, decarbonize their own business and manufacturing processes. And finally, for our communities as we look to expand economic development, especially right here in central Louisiana. Well, I mentioned discussions with the governor. And of course, if there's discussion about a project in central Louisiana, Senator Jay Luno is going to be hanging around. Senator, your support for this project has been unwavering, and we're fortunate to have you to serve central Louisiana and our community today. So, Senator, I know you have plenty of your constituents from your district right here at this meeting, and I think they'd love to hear about your perspective of Diamond Vault.
Well, good afternoon. To say that this is a wonderful day for Central Louisiana would be a huge understatement, because it is. This is perhaps the most important project that I've had the privilege of being a part of since I've been in office. And I'm very pleased to say that Project Diamond Vault is a diamond for us here in Central Louisiana. So we're very excited about that too. This $900 million project will initially create in its construction phase approximately 1,100 jobs. That clearly makes it the biggest project that we have had in Central Louisiana in quite some time. So we're very excited about that. In addition to that, and perhaps even more importantly, it's going to create 30 to 40 permanent, high-paying, high-quality jobs. And if that wasn't enough, it's going to bring cutting-edge technology to Central Louisiana and put us on the map as part of that continuation of that, spawning additional businesses and giving us more opportunities to create that technology here in Central Louisiana to share not only with the state of Louisiana, but throughout our great nation. I want to thank some people today for their involvement in this that have already been said about them, but I can tell you, being involved in those meetings early on and talking about it, we couldn't have done this project without the confidence and the courage of Senator John Bel Edwards and Governor John Bel Edwards and Senator Bill Cassidy. So thank you both for having the courage to do that, and thank you both for your dedication and the hard work. I know how many hours you guys put in working, and I know what these projects are like, and they're difficult sometimes, and you have a lot of people pulling you a lot of different directions, so thank you for your leadership here. And I'd also be remiss if I didn't thank CLECO. And you see, I'm not new to the CLECO family. My wife was a CLECO employee for about 15 years. And in fact, she started about the same time as Bill Fonteno and Robbie Laborde. And so I've known these guys for a long time. And I know Mr. Scott Brame very well too. And he was a wonderful part of our community for many, many years. So it's important to me that CLECO has worked so hard to make this project happen here. And it is not an easy thing to do. It takes a lot of work and a lot of involvement with a lot of people like Secretary Pearson who come in and help with these kind of projects. So thank you to everyone for coming together and working hard to make this happen for Central Louisiana. We're looking forward to great things. And it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a while, but a project this big takes a while, so we would ask for everybody's patience till we can get up and moving. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you really for your unwavering support, and we wouldn't be here today without that support, so thank you so much. Now, many of our customers are also working hard on their own carbon reductions, reducing their own carbon footprints. Maybe they've bought an electric vehicle. Maybe they're weatherizing their homes. Maybe they put up solar panels. We think it's a good idea, but decarbonization begins with the power supplier, like CLECO. We must provide a cleaner solution to our customers in order to transition their processes from combustion to electrified means. In effect, if the electricity that we provide for our customers is not cleaner, then their own transition to electrification is only moving the combustion process upstream back to the utility. The Louisiana Public Service Commission is working with the power industry to help clean up our own generating resources first, to enable our customers to clean up their respective processes while we keep the lights on. Balancing your own constituents' needs and keeping an infrastructure provider, like an electric provider, viable is a challenge. And our commission does that better than I believe any other commission in the country. So with that introduction, I'd like to invite Commissioner Mike Francis to the podium.
Thank you, Bill, for the invitation. It's always good to be back in Cenla. I'm from this area. I was born and raised about 30 miles over in LaSalle Parish, and I love coming back home. Between Commissioner Foster Campbell and myself, we regulate about 40 of the 64 parishes here. And this location right here is right in the heart of those 40 parishes. So it's really been a privilege for me to serve. CLECO is a great company. Bill, one of the things that is brought to my mind, this facility is aging. And a lot of our aging facilities, we do refurbishments, and we spend a good bit of money to upgrade them and make them last for our customers. This diamond vault idea and position could very well be the investment to give this plant another 30 years of life. And for that reason, we need to share that with all of our CLECO customers and let them know what we're doing. Commissioner Campbell and I, along with the other three commissioners, we're charged with giving Louisiana customers safe, reliable, and affordable electricity. And I'll assure you, and I'll assure all the CLECO customers that my job is to watch and work with CLECO to make sure we have that safe, reliable, and affordable, and that we don't raise our electricity bill just because we're doing the Diamond project. So we're going to be right on. And candidly, let me last say, I spent my life in oil and gas, drilling oil and gas wells. And if there's one drill here on this site to inject the CO2 liquids, Bill, I'd like to be the fluids engineer on the job, you know. So I'm very familiar with all the things that are going on here. I love this country. That my heart is here in Cenla. I'm excited about the job creation and possibly the looking down the road years from now, people will say there in central Louisiana was where this carbon sequestration was started, and it was led by a great company like CLECO. I'm glad to be a part of it, and I'm going to serve our CLECO customers in that way. But thank you, Bill.
Thank you, Commissioner, and that drilling engineer job. Thank you, but no thank you. We'd like to keep you on the commission and where you are today. Thank you for your service. Thank you for what you do for the citizens of Central Louisiana. We're fortunate to have you as our representation on the Louisiana Public Service Commission. Speaking of being fortunate, we are fortunate to have not one, but actually two of our Louisiana Public Service Commissioners here with us today. So with that, I'd like to request or introduce Commissioner Foster Campbell and invite him to the podium.
Thank you. I used to teach math, and so I sort of keep up with statistics sometimes. And this is not good news. There's only 3 parishes in central Louisiana to Arkansas that didn't lose population last year. It's terrible. That's why it makes me so happy to be down here today. Bossier Parish gained 10%, where I live. Lincoln Parish gained 3%, and DeSoto Parish, believe it or not, gained about 0.2%. So we need help in North Louisiana, North Central Louisiana. We're not having a good day up here. So it's great news to come up here and see that things like this are happening. Things like this are happening. I want to praise CLECO about one thing. I don't always vote with these companies. Matter of fact, I'm the one who grades their papers. And I try to make them earn every dime they get because they're a monopoly. Nobody can go in and give this man here, he don't want to hear about it, but Nobody else in town he's going to serve you electricity here. And up this way, SWEPCO is. And over our way, Monroe in that area, Energy is all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. But of all the investor-owned companies, I want them to think about their ratepayers. They give you a big speech about the ratepayers. Well, we had all these storms last time, and Energy is getting about $3.5 billion check for the storm recovery. But they also gave their stockholders big checks and their president a big check at a time I think it was terrible to do something like that. I want to praise this company. You know what their directors did? And their president, he didn't get a raise. Neither did their stockholders. Got a raise. So you got a heart and you use good common sense. When we're in trouble, you don't raise salaries and pass it on to the people. So I appreciate what you did. You're to be commended for that. I appreciate it. I was in a contest about 6 years ago, and boy, how things have changed. There was 15 people in this contest. I want you to list this now, Mr. Cassidy. 15 people involved. And the narrator said, who believes in global warming? Who believes in global warming? 6 years ago, I was the only one to raise my hand. Everybody had tap dancing shoes. You could have heard them doing everything. Only one 6 years ago would say, I believe in it. No. You hear everything, it's this, it's that, it's this, it's that. And now everybody's got the religion, and I'm glad to hear it. Everybody's got the religion. And the reason we've got religion is because stockholders are telling you companies, hey, you got to do something about this. We all believe in global warming today. All sides, Republicans and Democrats. And that's a good thing, because it hadn't always been that way. I remember somebody, and I don't know if I ought to tell you this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. What the hell? I remember a guy named Al Gore. Y'all remember Al Gore? If it wasn't for Al Gore, we would not be here today. You wouldn't have this meeting today if it wasn't for Al Gore. And they made fun of it. You remember that? In 1970, when he was in Congress, he talked about global warming. And man, I've heard all the speeches about how all that's crazy, all this and that and the other. And it's amazing that everybody's got the religion. And I think it's good. But I believe in passing on compliments to people who deserve it. So I appreciate what Al Gore did. He had the guts to stand up against big companies that didn't want to hear about it because it interfered with their profits. We do have global warming, and we're all trying to do something about it. Like Governor Edwards talked about, Louisiana's in the worst place in the United States with global warming. We've lost 1 million acres of coast. And we had people say, oh no, don't sue the oil companies. Don't sue them. They tore it up, but we don't want to sue them. That's what the last governor said. This governor said they ought to pay for their damage like anybody else that have any common sense. So thank you for helping this part of the country and helping North Louisiana. Thank you for not taking a big fat pay raise. You know what Energy's guys did? Let me tell you this. This will make you sick at your stomach. Energy got a check now for $3.5 billion. They're going to get a check, boom, from the damages. Their president was making $16 million a year. You know what they did? They raised him to $17 million a year. And they gave their stockholders a raise. But they're not doing much for the ratepayers. Their rates are high. So I'm on the Public Service Commission to grade papers. But I really like to see companies do the right thing. And I'm glad to be here today. I came down here 100 miles to tell you and your company you're doing the right thing. I always remember those little folks that are having a hard time paying these bills. That's the one that we ought to be thinking about. And I appreciate what you're doing. And don't forget my friend Al Gore. He's the one that started all this stuff. And they made so much funny things about him, how he was crazy and this and that and the other. But just remember, 6 years things have changed. In 6 years, 15 people lined up. and ask them, does anybody in here believe in global warming? You should have heard the tap dancing. Not one soul would say, yes, I believe in global warming. But in 6 years, we've done a lot of changing. Thank you for letting me come.
Well, thank you, Commissioner. Thank you for the support of the company. And I think it goes without saying that Commissioner Foster Campbell is passionate about the CLECO ratepayers. He's passionate about Louisiana customers, and he's certainly passionate about his job. So thank you, Commissioner, for all you do for Louisiana. It's not lost on us what the project of this magnitude and the impact it might have on economic development in central Louisiana. Simply, if you build it, they will come. Providing a cleaner source of power and access to carbon sequestration will be a key resource to attract business and industry. CLECO is building a first-of-its-kind facility in a state known for industrial innovation. This is only the beginning. Solar investments, future batteries, technology investments. This is only the beginning of how we provide a foundation to attract business and industry with clean power solutions. To highlight the importance of this facility and this development, I'd like to introduce Bob Hess. Bob Hess is the Vice Chairman of Newmark's Global Consulting and Strategy Solutions Group. He's a sought-after leader in corporate strategy and site selection. He's conducted over 300 assignments globally across a variety of industries for names like Samsung, Boeing, and Nike. And he's introduced expansions in Asia, Europe, and Mexico. Basically, Bob's the guy that tells the CEO where he should expand or what location he should expand his business. And we're kind of hoping he likes the food and hanging around central Louisiana, because we'd love for him to bring some of that business and industry right here. So with that introduction, I'd like to invite Mr. Bob Hess to the podium.
Good afternoon, everybody. Economic development, it's a huge concept. It's usually brought back to some small measurements like job creation, capital investment, fiscal stability, tax base. These are good things. And then it goes back out wide again to broader concepts like workforce development and talent. Number one in the boardroom. Every boardroom I'm in, it's about talent. Community development, you can't separate community development from economic development anymore. They're back together again. You got to have attractive communities. The entrepreneurial side of this, by the way, there's small businesses that are going to be servicing this facility. Maintenance people, millwrights, those are jobs, right? And then always there's attraction and retention in economic development. Sure, but there's so much more in the years ahead of us. ESG, sustainability, climate change, we've talked about that. What about supply chain risk management, ecosystem development, recycling and energy storage, triple bottom line investing, big consulting word, right? And what about EV? I just spent a week in Berlin at an EV conference. It is real, all the way from the mine, all the way to the recycling of the electrification of vehicles and batteries. So this is all about solving complex problems across a plethora of people, places, assets, and repurposing what was to what will be. I'm a hockey guy, I'm from Minnesota. It's where the puck will be, right? So, and it's about isolating unique opportunities that generate sustained economic value for all. Economic development is for everybody, from the sewer district manager all the way to the president of CLECO. And it's about finding those diamonds in the rough. Well, Project Diamond Vault is all that and more. It's the epitome of economic development in the future, a future we can all rally around and root for. I have been a corporate site selector for 30 plus years now, 300 times and in 30 different countries. I've seen it all. This project will be noticed by my colleagues in the profession, and hopefully many clients who are more than curious about being associated with carbon capture and sustainability models as a way of doing business. It's in their mission statements, folks. I've seen it on the West Coast, the East Coast, and across the country. Success here is the only option. Carbon capture and storage and sustainability and all the really cool innovation around this process, I love the engineers on projects like this. It's so cool to see what they're doing, is alive and well right here in central Louisiana and being led by CLECO, the state of Louisiana, and their partners from the federal government present here today. I'm so honored to be with you here today, Senator, and the governor, so thank you so much. Congratulations to everyone for coming together to solve a complex problem. By the way, keep a close eye on CLECO organization. We are helping them right now roll out a new and exciting and targeted economic development strategy in the weeks and months to come. There'll be something for everybody across their entire service territory. Thanks for letting Newmark be a partner in this journey, and thank you for the opportunity to speak today. Thank you.
Bob, we look forward to working with you and the Newmark team again to expand business and industry in where we serve customers. So thank you for being here today. CLECO, is it working? CLECO is one of the many corporations incorporating sustainability into our operations by establishing a combination of ESG commitments. The company really has always embraced sustainable business practices, but we're now accelerating our efforts to protect the environment and remain accountable for it. That's what an ESG commitment is all about. We're working on numerous innovations in electrifying our customers' needs with future electric car infrastructure, charging infrastructure, with solar solutions to complement our natural gas-fired generation. In fact, I can say we're hopeful that we have an announcement very shortly on more investment in renewables and solar in Louisiana. However, there is a public misconception that the U.S. power grid can achieve net zero carbon emissions on wind and solar resources alone. Even with the widespread availability of storage like batteries and other technologies, or even hydrogen, the industry understands that fossil fuel generation plants will be around for years as we transition towards more clean solutions while we keep the lights on. It was the Princeton University's Net Zero Nation Study which concluded net zero emissions of greenhouse gases cannot be achieved by 2050 without significant deployment of carbon capture and sequestration. This is what our Project Diamond Vault is all about. Despite the fact that our Madison 3 is a so-called state-of-the-art clean coal technology, the fact is the Madison 3 unit is our highest carbon emitter in our fleet, and it must be addressed. If you've researched environmental science, you know that nationally it's a third, a third, and a third. A third of the emissions of CO2 stem from the power business. 1/3 come from the transportation business, that's automobiles. And the other third comes from customers' needs, from their homes to their manufacturing processes. So if the utility, as a power supplier, can decarbonize its third, then it can in turn decarbonize the transportation business and our customers' needs to totally decarbonize our nation and ultimately our world. And that's what we're doing with our Project Diamond Vault. We're standing behind our own commitment to a future net zero emissions by 2050 and enabling our customers' decarbonization efforts to ensure a more sustainable future. So I'm going to close with, again, a thank you for all of your participation today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. And thank you for being part of CLECO's journey to a clean and more decarbonized Louisiana. Thank you again.